What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you all are doing well. Today I'm going to be doing another video on the Camaro. Last time I made a video on the Camaro, I told you guys that I will be going over the mod list on the Camaro. So that's what we're going to be getting into today. I don't want to keep rambling. I just want to bring you guys straight in on the action. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Alright guys, so here we have the Camaro. And I'm starting with the outside first because, as you can see, it does have some aesthetic mods. So the first thing I ever did to this car was I lowered it. I got BC coilovers. I got the standard kit. I didn't know at the time that BC offered an extreme low kit. If I did, I probably would have went with the extreme low kit. But with the standard kit, I am more than happy. I like the ride height exactly where it's at. The fender is right over the tire, which is the way that I like. And also it has a really nice ride quality. I wish the spring rate in the front could be a little on the softer side, but it is a little stiff. But in the rear, it is perfect. The spring preload I was able to do correctly. I believe BC recommends for you to do a spanner wrench or 2 spanner wrenches between the rings and then lock them together, and that should be your spring preload. So yeah, the ride is amazing. It feels like just like the factory suspension did. Again, the front is a little on the stiffer side, but that's okay. I mean, I guess the good thing about that is that it won't rub. I don't rub at all on this car. I used to rub at the very beginning, but I got everything figured out. When I went to go do the alignment, I threw 2 degrees of camber in the rear and I think a degree of camber in the front, and that eliminated all the rubbing that the car had. That's when I was on 1LE wheels, which have a more aggressive track stance, I guess you can say. These factory wheels, however, they don't do any rubbing at all. They're very sunken in. They don't have no type of fitment. So yeah, but the very next thing that I did were the clear side markers up in the front, as you can see, and behind those are some LED Losfit amber bulbs. So that was the very next thing I did. And then the third thing I did to the car was the exhaust. It is a full 3-inch catback from the front back. When I first originally bought it, it was just a 3-inch catback from the cat's back, but since then I did eliminate the cats. This car does come with 4 catalytic converters, and I eliminated 2 of them. And when I did my headers, which is another mod, I did get high flow cats, and from those high flow cats back, it is a 3-inch catback exhaust. I believe it is an MBRP. Yeah, I believe it is an MBRP if I'm not mistaken. And again, it just has high flow cats, and from there is 3 inches of 3 inches in diameter of piping all the way back, and then it has some sport mufflers, and it comes out to 5-inch tips. So that leads me to my next mod. The very next mod that I did on the Camaro requires me to open the hood. So let me get that popped for you guys. If the engine bay is a little dirty, I do apologize. I do keep it clean from the majority of the time, but it might be a little dirty. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Yeah, it's a little dirty. It's not crazy dirty, but it's a little dirty. So the very next mod was the K&N intake. The factory airbox on this car is very, very big, and not only that, but it also has like 2 additional little air boxes coming out the side of it, and the car is just very choked up from factory. I mean, 4 catalytic converters in a huge airbox. Like, the car is very choked up from factory. This car deserves to breathe and for the air to just flow out of this V8, and from factory it is just very held back and choked up. So yeah, that was the very next mod. And then after that, I actually did the 1LE strut tower brace. That is an OEM 1LE strut tower brace. As you guys know, I had told you guys before, this car is an SS, not a 1LE. However, I did make it look like a 1LE because it basically has everything from a 1LE other than the wheels. And it did have the wheels, but I ended up getting rid of them. And as you can see right here, you can see the BC dampening adjusting knobs. So that is everything under here that you can see for right now. I haven't really done any other engine mods, again, other than the intake, and then the next mod would be the headers. So if you look down there, I do have 1/7/8 long tube headers with high flow cats, and then again from there back is the 3-inch exhaust, and it has some sport mufflers, 5-inch exhaust tips. So that is everything you could visually see that is modded up here in the engine, and nothing else in the engine is modded. That is the only two things that I have done basically to the motor. Other than that, I do have something on the way for it, which I'll get into in a little bit, but for right now, let's just keep going for what we have. The very next thing is the 1LE. This is an OEM 1LE front lip. This lip is very expensive, but I do see why. It's not your normal like plastic front lip, and it's not like something that you could just put on with self taps. It's actually rivets onto the whole front bumper, and it is huge. That lip actually is not humongous like on the outside, but this front lip actually comes from here and all the way back. It's not just held by self tappers and, you know, something like this wide. It actually follows the width of the bumper. So from that very peak to the very inside, it goes all the way back. So it's kind of like an under tray essentially. But it is an OEM 1LE front lip. They usually come satin black, but I did go ahead and get it painted gloss black. And then the very next mod that I did was the Z28 trunk spoiler. That also did come in satin black, but I painted it gloss black. It is not an OEM Z28 trunk spoiler. I wish I could get the Z28 trunk spoiler, but I just couldn't bring myself to spend all that money at the time. Again, I got this car when I was very young, so at that time, spending 60 to 100 bucks on a trunk spoiler that looked like the real Z28 spoiler was worth it in my opinion. And then, like I said, I did have it painted gloss black. So the very next thing I did, if I'm not mistaken, was I bought the OEM Chevy bow ties. Usually people just get a like vinyl and stick it over the gold, but I actually did spend the $80 and get the OEM black Chevy bow ties. If I had all the part numbers and everything, I would drop them down for you guys or mention it in the video so you guys, if you guys are interested and you want to get it for your own personal car. But I don't remember all of that because this was a very long time ago that I did all these mods to the car. So on the outside, actually, I'm missing one more thing. The very next thing was the ZL1 brake kit. For those of you who don't know, the 5th generation ZL1 had 6-piston Brembos up front, and it had a 14.8 inch or 14.9 inch rotor up front. But I wanted something a little bigger. I just wanted the biggest brakes they had available that could fit on the SS, or that I knew I could put on the SS. So the 6th generation Camaro ZL1 actually has 6-piston Brembos up front and a huge rotor. I believe the rotor is 15.5 inches up front, and it actually uses the same rear calipers and rotors that the 2015 and 14 SS comes with. So that way I don't have to do a lot of work. I actually took it upon myself to buy the 2 front rotors and calipers from a 2016 6th generation, or not a 2016, I meant to say a 6th generation Camaro ZL1. and with little modification I was able to make them fit. All that has to be modified is the brackets on the brake caliper itself. I had to get them machined down about an inch or two, and then once I did that, they fit up perfectly. The rotor, there's nothing that needs to be done. You could go ahead and mount those on. You just remove the other one, put that one on, you put the little Torx bolt that holds it up or secures it, and that's it. So that was the next mod I did on the outside. And other than that, I'm trying to see what else I did. When I did get the car, I did not have the Camaro badges on the fender. That was actually something that I added because the car on the outside was just way too like plain. Like it was just like way too plain for me. Like I needed something to kind of like break it up, or to like contrast, I guess you could say, with the rest of the car, or flow with the side of the car. And that, not having the badge, was just like an eyesore for me. It was just way too plain. But I think for the outside, that's just about it. I don't think there's anything else that I did. I wouldn't call this a mod. My last video, I had changed out the diffuser and recoated it, but I wouldn't call that a mod. That was just maintenance that it kind of needed, because the previous one, or the factory one, was just kind of boofed. Trying to think what else. I think that's it. I think that's pretty much it on the outside. Now, for stuff that you can't see on the underside of the car, the differential. I removed the differential. It has the 391 gears from the 1LE. So I removed the differential, rebuilt it myself, and I upgraded to the poly bushings from BMR. So 391 gear ratio from the 1LE. All OEM stuff, by the way. I believe the OEM company is AAM, if I'm not mistaken. And again, poly bushings from BMR. It is a must-do on this car. It feels amazing, so much better. And then I also did the drive shaft shop lightweight aluminum drive shaft. It is a one-piece lightweight aluminum drive shaft, and it is rated to hold 1,000 horsepower. I'm not sure if that's true. I don't think this car would ever see 1,000 horsepower. But if anybody does have a 5th generation that's making 1,000 horsepower and has that drive shaft, they could drop it down below, or in the comments they can tell us their experience with it. So that's pretty much all I have done mod wise, modification wise, or performance wise, I guess you can say. Suspension, drive shaft, 391 gears, poly bushings, and I think that's pretty much it. Intake, exhaust, headers. So performance wise, I think that's all. I guess you could consider this a performance mod as well, because this does give the car a little more like stability, and the rigidness of the car is like much more tighter now. But I think that's pretty much it for exterior mods. Maybe if you guys will consider this an exterior mod, tint. The car is tinted all around. Front windshield, the side windows, the rear window is all tinted. That was actually the first thing I did on this car. Now, the interior. Let's get into it. So for the interior, this car was a 1SS car when I purchased it, but recently in some of my videos you guys have been seeing a black 2014 Camaro SS, and it's a 1LE car in the driveway of my home. That car was a 2SS 1LE car, fully optioned. The only thing it didn't have was the Recaros and I believe the sunroof. So I took the whole full leather interior from that car and I put it into here. I swapped out the dash because this one has the heads-up display, or the one that was on that car had the heads-up display with the extra speakers. And I put basically every option that car had, I took it and put it in here, because the 2SS, all it is just interior. So now it has the ambient lighting on the doors with the silver door panels. It has the leather on the doors with the silver stripe or silver stitching. It has the Boston, well, this car in particular doesn't have the Boston acoustics, because I already had upgraded the audio system before doing this, so it has actually a better one in there. It has the leather wrapped center console lid with the silver stitching as well. We have the auxiliary gauges in the middle now. As you can see, we got the heads-up display, the extra speaker, and the seats. Of course, the leather wrapped SS seats, both front and rears. Gotta get you guys in there. So yeah, basically I took the whole interior out of that car and swapped everything over to this car, and I essentially made this car a fully loaded SS other than the Recaros and the sunroof. The Recaro was not an option for the SS, I believe that only came on the 1LE cars. So basically for this car, it's a fully loaded 2SS non-sunroof car. So yeah, pretty much has all the options now. And that's the reason why you guys have been seeing that black part out car in my driveway. It's not mine, it is my dad's. He did buy that car just for motor and drivetrain. He is parting it out. If you guys need any parts, if any one of you has a 5th gen Camaro and you need parts, feel free to drop it down in the comments below. And again, luckily he was nice enough to give me the whole interior from that car, and now I have it. Another thing that I did purchase for the interior was the rubber Camaro floor mats and the ZL1 pedals. This car did not have that. It had the rubber pedals that usually they all come with, and the floor mats, they usually come with like the regular carpeted looking floor mats, and they don't say Camaro on them. Well, at least for the 1SS. And it used to have the 1LE flat bottom Alcantara silver bezel steering wheel and the Alcantara shift boot and shift knob, but I recently removed it because when I put the leather interior in here, it just didn't look right. It just kind of looked off for me, so I wanted the leather steering wheel and the leather shift knob and boot back. Previously when I had the cloth interior, it looked good. It kind of looked the same, it all blended in. But once I did the leather interior on this car, the Alcantara was just kind of sticking out to me like a sore thumb. So I went ahead and just changed everything back. I put the leather steering wheel back on and the leather shift knob and boot. But that leads me to my upcoming mods. So, for those of you who don't know, the 5th gen ZL1 came with the same steering wheel as the SS1LE, but it came leather wrapped. The SS1LE never came leather wrapped. It came Alcantara only. The ZL1 has it, the flat bottom, silver bezel, leather wrapped steering wheel. So I did go ahead and place an order on one of those. I was able to find one that was in really good condition. They're very hard to come across and they're very pricey, but I was lucky enough to pick one up and it's on the way. I literally just ordered it last night, so we should be expecting that here anytime soon. And another upcoming mod that I have is the throttle body. This throttle body this is the factory one. All I did was just kind of coated it again because it was already looking a little old, so I just coated it with some silver aluminum. And recently on Marketplace I came across an older gentleman, very cool people, and he was willing to trade my old suspension because I did have BMR lowering springs before the BC coilovers. He was willing to trade my old suspension for the 95mm BBK throttle body, which I am very happy about. So I do have the throttle body already. It is currently in my home. I tried to put the throttle body on, but when you put the 95mm throttle body on the car before tuning, it goes into limp mode. So my next mods is going to be the BBK throttle body, 95mm throttle body, and a tune, because this car desperately needs it. I haven't tuned this car ever since I put the headers, the long tube headers with the high flow cats on. So I desperately need to get this car tuned. It's never had a dyno tune before. It's always had like off the shelf tunes and email tunes, I guess you can say, through Genetti Racing. For those of you who don't know, he's very well known in the Camaro forums. So, but soon I'm going to be getting dyno tuned. I believe with Florida Mid Performance is the name. I got to reach out to them, get into talks with them, make an appointment, and get that scheduled in. So that would be two of the upcoming modifications. It'll be the BBK throttle body and the tune, the actual dyno tune. And then I think another upcoming mod would be the exhaust. I like this exhaust. I like the MBRP exhaust, but there's another exhaust that I have my eyes on that I really like. It looks very high quality. The welds, everything about the exhaust looks so nice. And I'm thinking that I'm really itching to get that exhaust. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna swap this exhaust setup. So this one might be for sale anytime soon. So for those of you who maybe have a fifth generation and want an exhaust setup, this one will be for sale very shortly. Another thing that I would be doing soon would be the wheels. I used to have 1LE SS 1LE wheels, but I was offered a really good number for them, and I just told myself I'm gonna get rid of them. I had an extra set of wheels in the house anyway, so there wasn't a need for me to keep them. And then after that, I did have some 22-inch Giovannas, which I also got offered a pretty good number for. They were really nice wheels while they lasted, but the 22s, I really like the 22s. The 22s look really good on this car, but they didn't offer the tire sizes that I really wanted for this car. The tire sizes for the 22s that I wanted for this car are very hard to come across, and they don't even make the rear ones. They only made the front ones. So I just decided to get rid of the wheels and the tires. So I will be doing a new wheel setup on this car. I have some specs in mind. I'm not sure if I want to release those specs or those ideas yet, but stay tuned for that, because I will be doing some new wheels on this car very shortly. But yeah, guys, that's basically everything that I have incoming for the Camaro. Again, soon we're gonna have an exhaust install video. We'll be having a BBK install video, or the BBK throttle body install video, and the dyno tune video. And then of course, for the cherry on top, we're gonna be doing a new wheel setup on this car. So if you guys are interested in seeing all that content, please like, share, subscribe, and just keep following for the upcoming videos with this car. I feel like you guys will enjoy them. They're gonna be very action packed, and I'm gonna make sure to keep posting and also keep the content going. And I'm just really like wanting to bring you guys some good content. I know with this car there'll be good content, because there's still some things that I want to do to it versus the S10. That truck is kind of done. There is still a lot to do to that truck as well, but it is kind of done modification wise. That truck is just, there's a lot to be done maintenance wise, which I will be dropping videos on that as well. So again, if you guys did like this video, please like, share, comment down below, subscribe, and as always, stay safe out there. I'll catch you guys in the next one.